I'm going to say the quiet part out loud and be very vulnerable in this post, but do not have children or get pregnant unless you are 100,000,000% sure you can do this on your own.
If there is one advice I'm going to give anybody that is aspiring to be a mom, you want to be a mother, you want to have kids, you want to get pregnant, it is that you should know that you can be in that alone. Be a mom because you know that you can handle it alone by yourself. Don't want to have children because of anybody, or because you feel like people will be there for you, or because you feel like, oh, I know that I'm not alone. I know that I have people around me. No. Have that child or want to get pregnant or want to be a mom because you know that at a point, if there is nobody there for you, there is no human being, you are there alone and you can handle it, then go ahead and have that child. If not, close your legs. Hey gorgeous people, how you all doing today? Mara David, and thank you all so much for tuning in another interesting video. So I saw this video of this woman talking about the village that modern women think that they would have. Eventually they don't have it, and sometimes they are not there, or sometimes they might be there at a point, but later on they are nowhere to be found. Let me really click for you all to watch, and yeah, I'll share my thoughts at the end of the video.
I'm going to say the quiet part out loud and be very vulnerable in this post, but do not have children or get pregnant unless you are 100,000,000% sure you can do this on your own. And I don't think people understand that no matter the village that you think you might have, things can change at an instant. And the only thing that you can rely on is yourself, right? There's so many women I know who they thought their partner was going to be more supportive, more helpful. The man leaves when she's pregnant or cheats when she's pregnant. The husband becomes abusive and alcoholic, doesn't help out with the kid, blah, 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 whatever, narcissistic, whatever. I mean, these things can happen, right? You could lose your job. Your partner could lose their job. But also the village that you thought you were going to have, like the in-laws, the parents, the sister or brother that you thought was going to help with your child, can ultimately disappoint you. Not in a way where they mean to disappoint you. Like, for example, your parent whom you thought was going to help be your village finds out they have stage 3 cancer, right? And they're no longer in a position able to help out with the childcare. So that is an automatic expense that you didn't even think you were going to incur, right? Another parent, alcoholism could come in, right? Or, a parent becomes senile, or just something happens, right? Your partner could have cancer. You could have cancer. I don't know. There's just so many situations and scenarios that happen. And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I don't think a child should be brought into this world unless you are 1,000,000,000,000% sure of a cushion for your child. So me as a business owner, I am 8 months pregnant, and I've had the worst pregnancy. Way worse than my first pregnancy. It's just the level of nausea and exhaustion, but mostly nausea has just consumed me. And, my output is so much smaller than before. But I want to say, I have savings to hire out people to help me with things or to hire things, right? My parents, whom I thought was going to be more of a village, I have realized, through a lot of therapy and all this stuff, there is, how do I put it? I don't think it's the best environment for my daughter to be around them for an extended period amount of time. So this village that I thought was going to be there unconditionally, I have now decided to limit that village, right? My partner has also gone through so many job changes. And with that, we are on his health insurance. So, now we have to figure that out. There's just the drainage and the F-ups from the previous contractor who messed up my home. There's still problems. For example, we are changing our garbage disposal and it doesn't work because of the contractor did the plumbing wrong. So now we have to tear up the cabinets and redo the piping. I mean, it's just going to cost another few grand that we weren't expecting. The drainage is going to be at least $60,000. All of these expenses happen, and it's not something you can plan on, right? Your dog could have some medical bills, vet bills, whatever. So what I'm saying is, especially in this day and age, you have to be so sure that you are ready to have kids by yourself. Okay, meaning you 100% support them, you 100% are that village, you are blah, 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 and you have a contingency plan if something were to happen to you. Because I don't think enough young women understand that people change and things change. And it is so incredibly terrible and stressful if you don't have that cushion. And that's why I hear so many moms complain, including myself, but like about the mental load, right? About how corporate America is not nice to mothers and motherhood and it's not conducive. And this government, blah, 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 is not supporting mothers. And I totally agree with that. And I totally feel like the world should be different, especially in the United States, to support working moms and working parents. But the unfortunate reality is that it is not that. It is not that. And it's not going to change for who knows how long. So what you need to do as a young woman is to be completely prepared, which means when you are a young woman, 20 years old, first job in college, you need to start investing and saving. Because if you do want to become a mom, you always need to be prepared to do it alone because things change. And I think maybe a lot of women were not prepared for the harsh realities of motherhood, the mental load, the village that you don't really think about when you are like pregnant or like trying to get pregnant or whatever. Because it's very, very, very real. The village is not reliable, right? The mental load is never like calculated, and more feminine traditional roles are not economically qualified, but it does take significant amount of labor. So, I'm just, thank goodness for me in the stage of my pregnancy and all the stuff that I have the savings, to pay for things. Simple as like a house cleaner, simple as getting groceries delivered, simple as, hiring a babysitter for my daughter, simple as doing winter break camp because I don't know what she's supposed to do when I need to still be working during winter break, and this village that I thought we once had is no longer there. Like all of these things, money helps tremendously. So I feel like a lot of young girls are so enticed by designer things and like this lifestyle, blah, 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 blah. But you ultimately have to realize that if you do want to become a mom, you have to rely on yourself for providing for your child. You have to.
Having money is very important when you want to have kids. Even if you're not having kids, living your day-to-day life, you need money to survive. Okay? You need money to survive everything. You need to have money, right? So now that you want to have a child, you know that you need extra income than the normal one you already have because you're bringing another human being to this world. And the thing about children is you don't know the kind of child you're going to bring to this world. You don't know. You can have a child and the child has a particular sickness that you have to keep treating for the rest of the child's life or for the very first 5-6 years. You can have a child that is not, has some syndrome and all of that. Like you don't know what you're going to bring out sometimes. Sometimes the scan might not detect what your child have until they are born. Sometimes you might even be pregnant and you don't even know. In fact, pregnancy is very different. Very, very different. You don't know which is which. You don't know the type of pregnancy you're going to have. You don't know the type of pregnancy, if it's going to be a pregnancy that you have to be on bed, or the ones that will make you active, or the ones that will make you eat a lot. You don't know the one, if it's one that's going to make you sick throughout, you don't know which is which, you don't know which to expect. So when it comes to having kids and deciding to be a mom, it takes so many things, and there's more to like, oh, I'm ready, I want to do this. You need to sit down and think about the negative side, because most of the time the negative sides are more than the positive side most of the time, right? It goes along from the pregnancy, from the day you know that you're pregnant till you have your child. Some people, they are on bed rest for their pregnancy throughout. Imagine you being on bed rest. On the bed because you can't stand up. Because if you stand up, you might lose the child or lose your life. So many things can happen to you if you want to be a mom. You pass the pregnancy stage, you have the child itself, and the people that you think are going to be there for you might get sick. What if you feel like, oh, I have a mom, my mom's going to be there for me when I have my child, or she's telling me, don't worry, she got me, she needs a grandchild, and I end up having a child, and the next thing she gets sick and get unalive. This life that we're living is not promised. Like, we don't actually know what's going to happen tomorrow. And maybe the husband that you think, oh, you want to have the child for, eventually leaves you for another person, or is not even a good father, or is never available for you. You end up having that child by yourself and being frustrated. Or the friends that say they will make the child their own goddaughter or godson, that they're going to be there for you and all of that, you end up saying that they're going to be there, but they're not going to be really, really there all the time. Because at the end of the day, you are still the one that will be there for your child alone. So the thing is, before you consider having a child, nobody's telling you not to follow your dreams and have a child or have children, right? Some people say the dream to have 7 children. I don't know the kind of dream you want to have 7 children, but it's fine. If you dream to have a lot of kids, you need to know that you're financially stable, mentally ready to have those kids. It's not because you're banking on probably government, or when I have kids in this country, my kids are they're going to take care of my children. What if at a point the rules and the laws change? What's going to happen? What if the person that is paying your rent today tell you, I'm no longer paying rent for you? You're going to be homeless with your children. Can you afford to have a space? How much is in your savings? How much are you making per month or per year? That you know that even if you stop working, probably when you're pregnant, you can't walk. You're bed rest for 10 months. And are you still going to be financially stable if you don't work for a year or 2 years in case something happens? Are you mentally ready if your child is not very healthy? Can you be there for the child mentally? Because one thing is having a child, one thing is you being there with them when they are sick, right? Are you ready for all of that? Are you ready when the people you think that they are going to be there for you, or you guys have clashes, or something happens, or they move to another country? Can you handle the situation yourself? The long and short of this is that know that you can actually do this by yourself alone. If you cannot, there's no point having it, because people that you think are going to be there might change. They might change. Even you yourself might want to stay away from them due to some things. They might not be there for you 100. Some of them will try to be there. I'm not saying village, some people are not going to want to be there for you all the time. Some people want to be there for you all the time. Their own circumstances will not allow them to be there for you all the time. Some people will be there for you even if their circumstances allow them, but it is never enough, right? It's never enough, even when somebody is there for you, especially if you feel like you need that help, or you've not thought about, like, okay, what if I'm alone with this child? What am I going to do? If those people are not there, or if they are there, it can never be enough for you, because you need more from them, and it's not possible to get more because you are the mom, right? So I just feel like if you want to be a mom, or if you know anybody that wants to be a mom, always try to let them know the reality of life, and let them know that, okay, this thing, it is you that will suffer anything that happens. It is you that will carry all the load. Or are you ready to carry all the load if anything happens? Right? You might have a lot of supportive people around you, people that don't even, like, they support you 100. They are there everywhere. Anything can happen and the support get reduced, and you have to, put this aside to do this. Like, you have to do so many things for the child. Are you capable to do all of that? Or are you having kids because you feel like people are going to be there for you? A lot of people promise and tell you, I'm going to be there for you, just have the child. You see some mother-in-laws and grandmas or moms to tell you, just have the child for me. I'm going to take care of the child. I feel like that's one of the greatest scam. That's another great scam, right? That's not one of, that's a scam, right? If someone tells you, just have the child for me, I will take care of the child. Most of the time, they won't take care of the child 100. right? If you say, oh, I'm just going to have the child and dump the child for my mom or dump the child for my grandma because she wants a child. At a point, they'll tell you, take your child. This is your child. I am busy. I want to sleep. At a point, you realize that you were actually scammed, if that makes sense. So I feel like women should, have that thoughts before going through that very big decision, because one thing about being a mom is that it's irreversible. It's irreversible, maybe unless death, but I cannot say I don't want to be a mom again. You already have the child. So they're gonna be there with you to the rest of your life, so you're alive. Okay, so it's not something that, oh, you're going to sign a contract, or I don't want the child again, then bye bye. I don't know, I just feel like having a child is something that you cannot, it's something that you've done already and it's going to stay with you forever. Anyway, what is your take on this conversation? Kindly share your thoughts down in the comment section. Respectfully, check out Mara Davis. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.